So if you enjoy salsa, come on along with me and I'll show you how I make my recipe that I really enjoy, and I've done it over the years and I keep going back to the same recipe. Follow along. I have some new jars that I want to get ready, and I always rinse them out. Even though they're new, I like to rinse them out. They actually have a very foul smell inside, even though they're new jars. I don't know what it is from the factory, but oh boy, I don't need my salsa tasting like that. Anyways, I'm going to get my jars ready and we'll be back. I usually put all of my jars on a cookie sheet because when you put them in the oven and then you try to get them out, quite often they will flip over on the rack. It makes them very hard to get them out of an oven. When you just want to get one jar but it's fallen over and you can't get a hold of it with your oven mitt, it makes it very tricky. So I just put them on a cookie sheet and that saves that delay. The recipe I use for my salsa calls for sweet peppers, 4 to 6 sweet peppers, 2 to 4 jalapenos, but I have 4 and they're big ones, so I think, nah, I'm going to use them. Calls for 6 medium onions and 1 bulb of garlic, but I'm going to put 2 in because I'm thinking I like a little more garlic today. And then about 20 medium tomatoes. And while these are all different sizes, it'll be the equivalent of about 20 medium tomatoes. All different shapes, colors, and sizes, but nothing but good flavor. I was just going to show you that quite often I do 1 cup jars for the salsa. And usually these are the ones I give away, and they're just a gift for somebody that likes a nice jar of salsa. It might be an elderly person or whoever. And so I like to do a couple of small jars so I can give them away. So now when you're doing jalapenos, most people like to wear rubber gloves. Well, if you don't have rubber gloves, what else can you do? Well, I just get out a couple bags and I can still use them. Cut the tops off, put them in there, and if I split them open, I don't like to get my eyeballs full of jalapeno seeds and juice, and oh my goodness, the juice that comes off of the seeds and stuff. And then I put them right in my blender. I guess it's a food processor, isn't it? It's not a blender. Take out some of the seeds and some of the white, put them in there, and when I'm done, I can just take the bags off and go to the next veg. I always like to throw a couple tomatoes in with the jalapenos when they chop. Gives a little bit more liquid, and I just pulse the food machine just so I get nice little flakes of jalapenos in there, but that helps to mince them up and give them a little bit of extra juice in there so they chop up nicer for me. All my veggies have all been washed and ready to go, so I'll show you how I blitz this up. And that's the size you get of the jalapeno. They're just nice little bite size, but they add color to your salsa because they're green. For the tomatoes, I just like to cut them up, take the end off, cut them in half, take the little stem off, and cut them in half. If they have a big core in them in the center, then I'll cut that out, but otherwise I just throw the whole tomato in. As you can see, the tomatoes are just nice little chunky bits. I don't like a smooth salsa. I like something with a little bit of chunk. Pour it into my big pot and keep going until everything is blitzed up and into the pot. Some of the heirloom tomatoes, you can see they have a hard core, so I like to cut them out. Let's keep blitzing and get the whole pot looking good. You can see all the jalapenos on the left. And then we'll get the garlic, and we'll get the onions, and we'll put a bit of tomato in with them, and they blend a lot nicer too, a lot smoother. Now normally, the yellow tomatoes don't have much acidity to them, but because there's vinegar in this recipe, they're totally good to use in the salsa. Sometimes we get overrun with cherry tomatoes. Well, into the pot they're gonna go. Okay, it's time for the peppers to head into the party. I just do the same thing. Take the tops off. They've already been washed. Into the blender they go, the food machine. Little guys I'm not even gonna cut. And then I'll show you how I make them blend nicely after I get them minced a bit. When I showed you my pasta recipe earlier and I canned it, I showed you these little peppers and how spicy they were. They're called teardrop. Who knew? When I'm doing peppers, you know, this looks like a normal thing. You're just taking out the skins or the seeds, but I like to get every last bit of pepper. So I go around and I cut off. Why waste it? It's enough to make another mouthful of salsa. And now that's what I throw in my scrap bucket. So let's start to blitz the peppers. I like to pulse this and get them into little fine chunks. Look at that, and it saved an awful lot of time and work just by blitzing, just pulsing. All right, let's get out the garlic. I like to make a slit in between each of the cloves, like that. Then I can put a butter knife in there and twist, and then they just pop apart. Now to get the garlic out of the skins, I like to take each clove, put a wooden spoon on it, and just pound it. And look at how it already pops out of the skin. It's already slightly mashed, ready to go into my mixer. Not bad, eh? What's my tip for working with onions, you ask? Well, just watch and learn. I usually turn my tap on just barely running. And I cut my onion under the water. Something about that just takes down all those onion juices that come out of the onion and make your eyes burn and you end up crying. Not this way. I've seen a lot of different tricks and trades trying to keep onions from making them hurt your eyes. But by far, this is the best. Then I slice it under there. And I slice it one more time. And into my food machine it goes. Not too bad, eh? Slick as butter. So let's blitz the 3 onions the same way we did the peppers. Just pulse it. And now the onions are about the same size as the little peppers. I do like chunk, and this is perfect size. Okay, everybody's into the party and mixed, and if you can see, on the far side it says I have just barely 6 quarts of product. So let's see when we're all done cooking it, how much the final product would be. So that would be approximately 12 pints right now. I'm hoping for between 8 and 12. So my recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of pickling salt. It calls for 1 cup of vinegar, white vinegar. It calls for 4 tablespoons of sugar. Mine is organic, that's why it's looking a little beigey colored. And then I put in 1 heaping tablespoon of cummin. And that's all that I put in it. And that's the pickling spice, or pickling salt, the vinegar, and the sugar, and my cumin. 4 things into besides the veggies. Now we're going to heat it up and cook it until it boils down a bit and thickens, and then we'll put it in jars. While I'm waiting for it to cook, I thought, I'm going to have a hot dog and put salsa on my hot dog. But let's taste it. See the little bits of yellow, and you can see the onion and the little flecks of jalapeno. Let's see what we got so far. Not too hot. I put those 4 big jalapenos in there, and it's just, I think, perfect. Should be tasty. My hot dog Now that's a hot dog. Salsa and my dill pickle relish on there. Boy, oh boy, I got the best of both worlds on that hot dog. Delish. So something I've started doing recently when I make my salsa is I like to skim off some of the sauce off the top, just so that my actual salsa is thicker for the end product. What do you do with the extra sauce, you say? You cook rice. Nothing like a salsa tasting rice. Oh my goodness. So tasty, and it doesn't waste the bit of liquid that you're taking off. I don't take much, but I take off maybe a cup or so. And then when my salsa is in the jars, then it's a little bit thicker. So let's do a little bit of a test taste, because you want to season it. There's only one more chance before it goes in the jars, and this is it. It's sweet enough and salty enough, but I think it's needing some more cumin. So I'm going to put some more cumin in it. 1 more tablespoon. That should be good. I put my jars in the oven and they're turned on to 225, and I put my rings on. I'll just bring them to their hot, but not boiling. Alright, let's get this party started. Let's get some canning done. My jars have been in for 10 minutes in the oven at 225. I'll stir up my salsa and make sure everything's mixed, because it does settle. One jar. Now surely you didn't think there wasn't going to be a taste test of some nachos and some salsa, and see what we have here. Shazam! Any party you have and you want to bring this out for company, they're going to gobble that up for you. Make it for your family, make it for your friends. Blessings to you and your family. Bye.